Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, the opulence of the Absolute, text 33 onwards. So Krishna is speaking about his potencies, and he says, I'm just going to give you some summary here. It's not possible for me to describe everything. So further he is saying, Aksharanam akaro asmi dvandva samasikasya cha aham eva kshaya kalo dhataham vishvato mukha. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. So again, Brahmaji is not Krishna, but of all the creators in superlative degree, Brahmaji is the topmost, and it represents Krishna. Akar, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akar, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual words like Ram, Krishna is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Ram and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. This part I never understood, but just took it as it is. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is a representative of Krishna because in due course of time, there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. So that's at the time of dissolution. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is a chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. And further, Mrityu sarvarashaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrirvakcha narinam smritir medha dhriti kshamam. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So, Mrityu sarvarashcha aham. Krishna says that I am. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They're born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb. That is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. So Kal, as Kal, he comes and takes away everything. Mrityu sarv harashcha. So that is representative of Krishna. So that is why it is said, if we don't see Krishna in our lifetime, then, well, Krishna is going to come as death and remove everything, whatever we have accumulated. And also, one of our sannyasis, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he wrote a book, Die Before Dying. So what it meant was, at the time of death, that is explained here, everything will be taken away, whatever we have. So might as well give up everything. Give up in the sense, give up the possessiveness and use everything in the service of Krishna. That will be the proper use, because otherwise everything will be taken away from us Whoever gets it, how he uses it, we don't know. So die before dying. So while we are living, we should start preparing for our death. That is the goal of life, actually. The seven opulence listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary is called intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, dhriti. And when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance, both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, kshama. So Krishna says, I'm all this. I mean, these are the best characteristics, qualities one can have. And further, Brihat Sam Tatha Samnam Gayatri Chandasam Aham Masanam Margashirsho Aham Ritunam Kusuma Karaham. Of the hymns in the Samveda, I am the Brihat Sam, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, November, December. And of seasons, I am flower bearing spring. So of months, I am Margashirsha, November, December. And before comes the month of Kartik. So Kartik month represents Radharani, and Krishna represents Margashirsha. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, he is a Samveda. The Samveda is rich with beautiful songs played by various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sam, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. So Brihat Sam, that's what Krishna says I am. In Sanskrit, there are different rules that regulate poetry. Rhyme and meter are not written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Among the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmins, is most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. So again, Gayatri Mantra represents Supreme Lord. Harinam is not different from Krishna. They're two different. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness, according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri. So, qualities of goodness means Brahman. One has to be a Brahman. Not birth-wise, not caste-wise, qualities-wise and work-wise. Then he's a Brahman and then he is eligible to chant Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator and it is passed down from him in disciplic succession. So that's why Gayatri Mantra is very important. But now what has happened, we have made it so cheap. You can hear it on YouTube, earlier CDs, cassettes. Anybody and everybody, people would put in their shops Gayatri Mantra chanting. So that is not proper because one has to be duly qualified Brahman to be able to chant and hear it. People say, oh, well, what harm it's going to do? Well, it brings down the importance of Gayatri. That is, of course, even Hare Krishna mantra. When Mahaprabhu came, the mantra was Om Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But there was Om in front. When the Om, Pranav is there, means only Brahmins. When Mahaprabhu came, he came as Patit Pavan. He wanted to give Krishna prem to everybody by chanting of holy names of Krishna. So he changed it to, he took out Om and he changed it to Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it is open for each and everybody can chant. Whether one is initiated or not, in 4 ashrams or varnas or not, even if it's outside varna ashram dharma, anybody and everybody can chant. But Gayatri mantra is not like that. Om Bhur Bhasva, so it starts with Om. And when any mantra starts with Om, means it is restricted only for the Brahmins. Means one has to have those qualities of Brahman to be able to chant. The Hare Krishna mantra, anybody can chant. The month of November, December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time and people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's past. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of Supreme Lord Krishna. So, Margashirsha, November, December, because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time. I was also told, I don't have agricultural background, that gehu is, I think gehu, that is when they plant it. Harvesting is done during Lodi time, right? Not Lodi, Vaishakhi. But I don't know why Prabhupada said, because grains are collected from the field. Maybe the rice is collected at that time, I'm not sure. But this is what Krishna says on that Margashirsha. So sometimes, because we don't understand many things about Bhagavad Gita, so people, when they read of the hymns in Samveda and the Brihat Sam, and of creators and Brahma, so they start worshipping Brahma as Krishna or as the supreme, or Brihat Sam as the supreme, or Samveda as the supreme. No, it's just representative. Means they are in the superlative degree, they are better than anybody else. Because next verse is Dyutam Chalyatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinam, Jayo Asmi, Vyavasayo Asmi, Sattvam Sattvatam. So Dyutam Chalyatam, I'm also the gambling of the chiefs. That doesn't mean we start gambling. Of all kinds of cheating, gambling is supreme. Because everybody cheats in gambling. That's how they win. But that doesn't mean we start gambling. He's just telling that this is in a superlative degree. And of the splendid, I'm the splendor. I'm victory, I'm adventure, and I'm the strength of the strong. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As a supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. The unfortunate commentator who wants to cheat Krishna and the public by saying that there is something greater than Krishna is cheated by Krishna. And the commentator cannot understand Krishna after any length. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. So if Krishna chooses to deceive a person, and Krishna doesn't, he says, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu, yeah, I'm neutral to all. Because a person, if he wants to cheat Krishna or deceive him, Krishna obviously is bent at three places. Who can cheat him? So he's the biggest cheater if he wants to cheat. And if somebody wants to approach him with love and mood of service, who can reciprocate better than Krishna? So we read all these pastimes, all these stories in Srimad Bhagavatam. So cannot cheat Krishna. And moreover, even if we want to cheat, he is sitting inside our heart as Paramatma. He knows everything what is going on. So he'll punish at the right time. He still gives us a chance to rectify our mistakes. So he doesn't punish right away. He wants to give us a chance. But if we think we can cheat Krishna, we have cheated Krishna, became successful, won't last too long. We have to pay for that. Among the victorious is victory. He is a splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous. And among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan hill. No one can surpass him in cheating. No one can surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. And no one can surpass him in strength. No one. So he's asamogdava. Nobody is better than him. Nobody is even equal to him. Vrishni nam Vasudevo asmi, Pandva nam Dhananjaya, Muni nam api aham Vyasa, Kavi nam Ushna Kavihi. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, that he is. And of Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So among all the Pandavas, Arjuna is the best. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Ushna. Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead, and Baldev is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Krishna and Baldev appeared as sons of Vasudeva. So both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. So Vasudeva is also an expansion of Krishna, not original Krishna. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. So Vasudeva is non-different from Krishna. It is to be understood that Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baldev or Balram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is a sole source of Vasudeva. So original source of all incarnations. See, from Krishna, first expansion is Balramji. Not incarnation, expansion. And from Balramji comes all of the incarnations that we have studied in Bhagavatam also. So here, Prabhupada explaining, Vasudeva is Balram or Baldev. That's what he's saying, among all the Vrishni names, I am Vasudeva, I am Balram, because he is the best. He is the original source of all incarnation, thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swa Ansha, and there are also expansions called Vibhin Ansha, separated expansions. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyas is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyas is also known as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyas also represents Krishna. So, especially in this Kali Yuga, Vyasa, Krishna also came as Vyasa. He is considered literary incarnation of Krishna to give all the literature. So that's why he also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushna or Shukracharya was a spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. The Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. So Shukracharya, and on the other side, Krishna says, I'm Brihaspati, guru of demigods. Now he is a guru of demons, but that also Krishna says, it's my representative. Because he's the best. Dando damayatam asmi, nitirasmi jigishatam, onam chaivasmi guhyanam, jnanam jnanvatam aham. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. So such knowledge is Krishna himself. Of wise and the wisdom. So that is the best of knowledges that Krishna has explained earlier also. Not some technical knowledge is the best. This is the best knowledge. Yacchapi sarva bhutanam bijam tad aham arjuna na tadasti vina yatsyam maya bhutam characharam. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. Yacchapi sarva bhutanam bijam tadaham. Nothing moving or non-moving can exist without me. And that is for sure. So everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's potency, nothing can exist, either moving or non-moving. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. So everything that is existing, moving, non-moving, just dependent on Krishna. So further he says, Nantu asti mam divyanam vibhutinam parantapam eshatu deshatah proktu vibhuter vistaro maya. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Hey, Krishna himself is infinite opulences. And what I'm speaking is just a mere indication. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. And Arjuna has understood Krishna's position. It's just for us to understand who is Krishna. Yadyad vibhuti matsattvam shrimadurjitam eva va tattateva gachitvam mam tejo ansha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Spark of my splendor. If we see a little fire and sparks always coming out, how big is that spark compared to that fire? It's hardly anything. So this is what Krishna is saying. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. And considered to represent Krishna's opulence, but at the same time, you have to understand just a spark of his splendor. Mam Tejo Ansha Sambhavam. We get mesmerized or very much in awe of something, seeing something big or beautiful. Like if you go see an ocean, it's huge, huge. Or you go see mountains, Himalayas, or any of the big mountains, big. And we see ourselves very tiny in front. Now looking at from Krishna's perspective, it is a spark of my splendor, nothing more than that. So then we should be able to understand who Krishna is. If this is just a spark, who's Krishna? Scientists talk about Milky Way, the galaxies, and this and that. Huge, very huge. And if somebody speaks of the universe, the creation, we studied in Bhagavatam, different planets of the universe, and somewhere there are jambu trees, and some there are mango trees, and huge mangoes, and this and that. A just spark of Krishna's splendor. Just a spark. Atva bahunetena kim gyaten tavarjuna vishtabhyam idam krishnam ekankshena sito jagat. But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. He is the only one sustaining, maintaining everything. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Goal. That's what it's called, Yato Mat Tato Pat. Whatever you feel like, you follow that and you'll reach the same thing. But here in 10th chapter, that idea is thoroughly discouraged. To completely eradicate this wrong idea, in this chapter, Lord Krishna informs that even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is asamordhava, which means that no one is superior to him and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Puran, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with the demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. So he's not in the same category. They're not equal to him. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the Supersoul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness, in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How can one attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, a great Acharya and disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yas Shakti Leshad Surayadayan Bhavanti Yati Ugra Tejasa Yad Anshen Dhritam Vishwam Sa Krishna Dashme Archite. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. And by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. That is Paramatma feature. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna is worshipable. Only he is worshipable, actually. So thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the Absolute. So we'll stop here. Next Sunday we'll have chapter 11. Any questions or comments?
They're powerful, Prabhuji. So powerful. I swear.
Prabhuji, in reference to this गायत्री मंत्र, ये क्रिएशन ग्राउंड्स पे अब आजकल कंटिन्यूसली चलता रहता है ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः। तो ये इसको मतलब ये ठीक है?
ठीक नहीं है, पर अब चला रहे हैं, क्या कर सकते हो?
ओके, ठीक नहीं है।
नहीं, गायत्री mantra is very special, very powerful, but very special. But you cannot do anything. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, anybody can hear, no problem with that. But not Gayatri.
Prabhuji, how about the Radha Kataksh Strotam? That also starts with Om. Most
So
of
anything
these...
starts with Om means it's for Brahmins only.
Oh, okay. And what was the hymn that
but
you were...
Radha Kripa Kataksh you're talking? No.
Okay, what was this hymn that you were talking about earlier in the chapter? About Sam Ved.
There's a hymn called Brihat Sam.
Brihat Sam. Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but that's what it mentions.
Okay.
Okay, chalo, you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.